With the recent release of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, game developer Frontier has released their latest game, Jurassic World Evolution, to coincide with the movie. This is Frontier's latest title following their Super Smash hit, Planet Coaster. So add that with the fact that we haven't got a Jurassic Park builder since Operation Genesis, which is now 15 years old, and you'd expect a lot of good stuff from this game. What we did get was not that. Hi, I'm Michael, and if you're anything like me with an attention span of 0, then TLDW, this game is decent, but not worth full price. Check it out, but maybe when it's on sale. For those of you who would like a more in-depth review, let's do this. There's no denying it. This game is gorgeous. It's what you would expect from a AAA current-gen title. The buildings, the trees, the guests and scientists walking around your park, and of course the dinosaurs, they all look great. There were so many times while playing this when I just was in awe over how pretty everything was. Not to mention subtle things like rain spraying off objects, such as power lines and even the dinosaurs, are the things that I absolutely love most in a game. It really helps you feel immersed in the environment, like you're actually there walking around an enclosure with Triceratopses. While a tropical storm rages on, but you're a dedicated Jurassic World employee who's got a job to do. I found myself on numerous occasions forgetting to play the game, because I was too focused on how good everything looks. Those moments though were always cut short because absolute chaos was breaking loose in my park, but we'll get to that in a bit. The animations for everything in this game are also top notch. Everything feels alive. The guests point at stuff and look genuinely entertained or genuinely scared, depending on how you manage things. When it rains, people will actually lower their heads and hunch their shoulders exactly how you really would if you're caught out in the rain. The wind blows the trees and grass around so fluidly, and the dinosaurs feel like they have their own personalities and their own thought processes. You can see the gears turning when your raptors huddle in a group and seemingly chat with each other, only to break out in separate directions to attack the fences. It's all really impressive. At first. Now, I don't want to dwindle too long on the at first aspect, only because literally every single game ever made has limited animations. I get that. It's just that it's a little disappointing how quickly you notice the same things happening over and over in this game. Granted, there's a lot more stuff going on around your park to keep your focus off the repeating animations, but you will inevitably be caught from time to time helplessly staring at your dinos. Not a huge gripe, but still a gripe nonetheless. And unfortunately, this is pretty much where my praise ends. This game is so bare bones and so plain to look at, which is very disappointing considering this is following Frontier's last game, Planet Coaster. A game where you can literally take shapes, basic shapes, and make buildings with said shapes. There's so much customization and attention to details present in Planet Coaster that are sorely lacking in Evolution. Simple things such as benches, trash cans, fountains, all the stuff that are just no-brainers when it comes to park builder sims are all missing from Evolution. Not to mention, nothing says Jurassic World on it, save for the entrance gate. Not that this is a huge deal, but come on! I mean, look at this! Does anything in this shot hint that you're in a Jurassic Park? No! It looks like a science convention with a few confused regular people who accidentally got in. Now let's look at Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. You know, the game that came out 15 years ago. Look at how bright and vivid everything is. Look at how it looks like you're actually in an amusement park. An amusement park which never forgets to let you know that you're in Jurassic Park. I know I keep bringing this up, but it baffles me to think that Frontier would opt to make this game so dull in comparison to previous park sims, including their own. Fix this, Frontier, do it now! For park builder sims, story is rarely ever present since there really is no need for one. Build a park, make your park's fame spread, and make money. That's pretty much how they all work, wash, rinse, repeat. Evolution does have a very basic story where you're trying to balance between 3 different factions, all competing for your attention. All the while, Dr. Wu is doing stuff in the background. It's innocent enough, it doesn't need to exist, but it's fine that it does. Nothing much more to say here, so let's move on. Here's where we get into the meat of this review. Control-wise, the game functions how you would expect from a park builder, and they do it well, save for the occasional frustration with the camera from time to time, but that's about it. I might also add that the copy I'm reviewing is for PC, so I'm not sure how well it controls on consoles, but I'm sure it does fine. The game itself is heavily focused on chaos. As I stated before, you have 3 different factions all competing for your attention. It's your job to play a balancing act between the 3, which are science, entertainment, and security. At the beginning of the game, you'll be asked to choose from one of the 3 that you would rather be loyal to. This, as far as I found out, makes little to no difference, as you must pay attention to all 3. If you pay more attention to one or 2 and not the other, then the neglected faction or factions will sabotage you. On top of that, your dinosaurs can be extremely picky, forcing you to figure out certain things, such as what makes them happy, how much space do they need, how many friends do they need, do they like trees, do they like other species of dinosaur? If any of those requirements aren't met, then they'll get all aggro and break out of their enclosures and start running amok. The carnivores will kill anything on sight, and they will not stop until you or your AI hunts them down and tranquilizes them. This is all the chaos that I mentioned earlier, and all of this sounds great. On paper, the dinosaurs break out constantly, and not all of it makes sense. Why should a tiny dinosaur be able to tear down a concrete wall? There was one occasion where I released a Styracosaurus, and immediately upon birth, its first action being alive was it ran straight to the fence and started breaking it down. I'm not kidding! Eventually, after a lot of trial and error, you start to figure out which dino needs what, and you're able to get the breakout number decreased, but I really do mean decreased. It still happens way too often. If you're anything like me, then that goes from fun for a little bit to extremely annoying very fast. Do you remember how fun it was to set your dinosaurs loose in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis? Well, here, that turns from fun to tedious. Alongside that, it seemed like any time I tried to do anything, I would get some sort of notification of something going on. Whether it be sabotage, or a broken fence, or a storm, or feeder out of food, problem after problem after problem, it gets so annoying after a while. But on the flip side, the beginning of each new island is excruciatingly slow. Let's talk about that for a bit. The game is made up of 5 main islands plus 1 sandbox island. The sandbox island is Isla Nublar, the island from both the first Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. You unlock Isla Nublar relatively early on in the game by achieving a 4-star rating on your first island. However, at this stage, the island is pretty much useless to you as not everything is unlocked. Sure, you have unlimited money, but that's all, rendering early sandbox play pointless. Each one of the islands has a different thing about it. One is constantly at sunset with incessant tropical storms, one is always at night, one is at day with storms including tornadoes, and so on. The game doesn't have a day-night cycle, which is a little disappointing and really no reason for it not to be there. I understand that each island relies on different times of day to make them unique for each park, but honestly, why? You could have just as easily used a day-night cycle and still had challenges and objectives. One of the islands requires you to pull a pre-existing failed park back from the dead. That on its own is a cool idea, so why do you need it to also take place only at night, during a blizzard, under the northern lights? Okay, that doesn't happen, but you get my point. Another thing that bothers me is you can't click on individual guests. So when you do inevitably have your 500th breakout, sometimes guests will stupidly run into your dinosaur enclosures. Once that happens, since you can't click on them or even rescue them, they're stuck there. Here's something else that really annoys me. Jurassic World was heavily grounded in the idea of hybrid dinosaurs, yet in this game you can't do that. Why? Wouldn't you think that with a game like Jurassic World Evolution, one of the biggest perks of the game would be creating your own hybrids? I'm not saying go crazy, but Christ, even the mobile game Pokemon with Dinosaurs has hybrids you can make. I really don't understand why something like this would be ignored. It's not like they can't do it, I honestly just think that they were lazy and didn't want to. Are you starting to understand why at first I said that this isn't worth full price? Things like what I just said, while not enough, would help justify the price. Now that's not saying you can't customize your dinos. You can. Kinda. Each dinosaur has its own set of skins that you unlock through missions you collect from the different factions. These skins, for the most part, are dull and boring. And they don't even include skins like the raptors from The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, which would be nice since I absolutely love the way the raptors looked in The Lost World, and I know that for a lot of people, the raptors from Jurassic Park 3 are their favorite. From a business standpoint, I don't understand why you wouldn't give fans what they want. These things that should be a no-brainer get ignored by companies, and we have to be the bad guy by screaming, "We want this, we want more." It's hardly fair. Let's go back to price. I actually paid more than full price since I pre-ordered this game. I pre-ordered the game because of the promise of 5 exclusive dinosaurs. My thinking was Frontier would be like, "Oh, you paid more for our game? Thanks, GG, here you go, have some dinosaurs." And they would be available from the start. Nope. You acquire these dinosaurs the same mind-numbingly tedious way you acquire all the other dinosaurs. You do missions with a certain faction, some ranging from very easy to next to impossible. You do this until they decide you're ready to receive the right to look for the dinosaur. Once you gain the rights to dig, you have to send out expedition teams to go dig them up, and slowly, and I mean slowly, build up enough of the genome until you can make a baby dinosaur. I haven't even mentioned the rides and attractions, or lack thereof. Once again, let's look at Operation Genesis, the 15-year-old game. Its rides and attractions consist of hot air balloon, tour car, viewing dome, viewing platform, viewing tower, and observation tower. All of which, might I add, give you the ability to go inside or ride. Compare that to Evolution and its gyrosphere, viewing platform, and viewing tower. Fail! Listen, I understand that in the first Jurassic World, we only see one ride, which is the gyrosphere, but that doesn't mean you're limited to only the gyrosphere. Take note from previous entries of the Jurassic builders who have done it better than you and use some of their ideas. Or, and hear me out on this one, you are a theme park simulator game company. This should be your chance to shine. A walk in the Jurassic Park, your bread and butter. Get creative, make something up, put an IMAX in there or something. At least show us that you're trying. I don't understand the lack of content from this AAA brand new game, and especially since it followed one of, if not the best park simulators from the same exact company. It sucks that I have to get on here and bash this so harshly, especially since I'm a really big fan of Frontier. I just know they're capable of so much more. And with a title as nostalgically powerful as the Jurassic franchise, which is also one of my favorite franchises, this should have been handled with more care, for the sake of the fans. And that's my review of Jurassic World Evolution. I know that this review has been mostly negative, but despite all that, I still had fun with my time in the game, and honestly, I'm still playing it. It is still brand new, and we've already gotten the Fallen Kingdom DLC, so I'm sure that in the future we'll see further improvements and add-ons to the game. So if you're a fan of the Jurassic franchise or Park Sims, then definitely check it out. As I stated at the top of this review, wait a while and let Frontier actually finish the game and give the rest of it to us as DLC. This is Michael from Attention Span Zero, signing off.